Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to continue our playthrough of Solomon Kane. We're going to continue in our story. When last we left with Solomon Kane, he had stopped an angry mob from performing mob justice on our traveler, and we were able to get him to a herbalist. And now we're going to continue our mission to see if we're able to see if this strange traveler is actually a werewolf. Who knows? I don't think I'll ever figure it out. Couldn't possibly be on the book or anything. Anyway, I'm excited to see how this continues. Let's go ahead and set everything up and then begin. And if you're excited to see if Solomon Kane can make it through the rest of the story, then I need you to meet me at the table. We're going to continue right where we left off at chapter 5A. Now, this is a scene, which means we're going to have a map and a lot of things that are going to take place. And this is called The Beast Revealed. Solomon Kane takes grip on the stocks, much to the man's shock, who begins to struggle. The Puritan is no weakling, and despite the struggles of the man, Kane's iron-hard muscles hold the fellow in place. He shies in terror from the coin held up in front of Atenie's lined face. The old man approaches, grimly, inexorably. The man in stock snarls and spits like a wild animal, but Atenie clamps his jaw with one hand, and with the other he forces the coin between the fellow's slick, spittle-fleckled lips. At once, with a mighty roar of agony, the man hurls Kane and the old herbalist off, spitting out the offending coin. Kane stares in morbid fascination as the fellow visibly swells and grows in size. The stocks splinter like matchwood, and he shrugs them off contemptuously. His mouth and nose elongated obscenely, yawning open to reveal sharp, vicious fangs. Dense, dark fur sprouts across his features, and his ears grow to tuft points. "Quickly!" cries Atenier. "Hold it off while I find my gun!" Kane turns back to the monster, his size visibly grown, his muscles swell, and his mouth and nose elongated obscenely. He glares balefully at Kane, his face a mixture of torment and rage, and he prepares to lunge at the Puritan. In this scene, we're going to be using the keywords and stats Herbalist and Traveler, and they're going to be two separate types of keywords. The Herbalist is going to be a Seeker and a Vandal. So what the Seeker means is at the end of each of our virtues turn, he is going to move towards that token. Vandal is at the end of each of the virtues turn, he is going to attempt to remove one of these tokens from the game. The Traveler, on the hand, is a Rabble, which really isn't going to have much to do in case there ever is a test that he has to do. But for right now, we're going to be doing talk tests, and if we get less than X, we're going to be pulling D1130, and if we see X plus X, then we're going to get D1128, and we'll see how that goes in the playthrough. Our objective is to protect the Herbalist. When all of the tokens are removed, then we are going to finish our objective. And based on how our objective transpires, if all the tokens are removed, we're going to proceed to 6A. Now, of course, if that doesn't happen, we're going to go to Other and proceed to 6B, which is usually not a good thing. This scene gives us 8 darkness cards to be able to complete it, and on top of that we also get discovery card 115, which is right here, and it states transformation. With a hideous cry, the man swells and bursts from the stocks as his muzzle and teeth start to elongate. Kane looks at the helpless man with eyes full of understanding. With a booming voice, he tries to convince the poor folk to fight whatever tortures him from the inside. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and place 3 corruption tokens, and we're also going to place 2 objective tokens onto this card. And then once we do that, we're going to be abiding by the text on the bottom here. It says, when resolving a talk test targeting the traveler, X equals double the number of corruption tokens that are on here. So right now it is 3, so it's a 6. Whenever an objective is placed on the card, remove one of the corruption tokens. Whenever a corruption is placed on it, remove it. An objective marker. And at the end of the virtue's turn, I place one on this card. So I have to basically make all of these tests almost every turn. But whenever there's 5 on this card, 5 of these corruption tokens, we're going to have to reveal card 1112. Now this will remain in play for the entire scene. This is going to be the board that we're going to be playing on for this scene. We're going to go ahead first and get our 8 darkness cards. I'm going to shuffle these up a little bit and put out 8 darkness cards. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. We got our 8 darkness cards. I'm going to place them right up here. I'm also going to go ahead and place our card with our tokens right here. I'm going to take my 3 corruption tokens and place them back on there, and I'm also going to put our 2 objective tokens right there to remind ourselves that they are there. We do have our spawning. We have X, Y, and Z. Over here are the 3 tokens that are, I guess you could call our Seeker and our, what is it, Rabble? No, it's not a Rabble. Which one? Whatever he is, he's going to try and go ahead and destroy all these tokens. That's going to be his plan. So I'm going to push them right over there. Now we do get to put our Traveler out on the board. He's going to go ahead and go right here. Solomon Kane is also, of course, going to be placed on the board. He's right here. He's going to go right there. Now we do have a new person. That's our Herbalist. Here's our Herbalist right here. He is all set to go. He's got his little books in his pouches and everything. He's pretty cool. I'm a big fan of this guy. We're going to put him right there. And on the board, we get to have one of our virtues. We're going to go ahead and put her right here, right on top of the deer carcass. What a great place to be standing. And that's going to be it, I believe. Oh, I forgot. We have to have one shadow out here, right here in the middle there. So he's 2 squares away from Solomon Kane. So if we can maybe move this person here, at least I can perform a shockwave to prevent that thing from reaching Solomon Kane. Or maybe at this point, hitting Solomon Kane wouldn't be the end of the world. What could possibly go wrong when a shadow enters your square? We're going to continue where we left off in our last playthrough. We had gone through 1, 2, and 3, so the only person left to go is going to be our wonderful virtue that's on the board, and that's going to be Temperance. So Temperance is going to go ahead, and there's nothing at the beginning of the turn, so she's just going to go ahead and roll 3 dice and see what she can do. Now, she had a ton of dice in reserve, but sadly, I don't have any of these, so it's going to be kind of tough. I could move if I want to. I can also explore, but again, there's nothing to explore in this scene. And then, of course, I can put her on the board. She's already on the board. So there might be a lot of donating going on here. Let's see how this goes. Let's go ahead and roll these up and see what happens. Oh, I can't even donate anything. She's the last player. This is going to be something else. This is going to be a super good start. I've got 1 faith, which isn't going to really help me much. Now, I could go ahead and re-roll or flip one of these dice. And honestly, I don't even know what I'm going to even do with some of these dice. What I can do is start our talk tests. I could go ahead and use this one and this one, plus any other die. I might as well use a bravery to activate Justice's main board, which is talk with +1 because it has 1 light. I also now have the rest of these to do whatever I wish with. And sadly, there's not much I can really do with these. I guess I could re-roll this one and see what we get. I think this is the one I had. If it's not the other one. Got the same die roll. So if it wasn't the one I was supposed to roll, at least fate brought it back to where it's supposed to be. We're going to go ahead and I guess I could slot some of these and then I can reserve some. Well, I can only reserve. I can't actually do anything else with these. So let's go ahead and see what cards I have here. See if there's anything worth. Wow, nothing's even worth this thing, I guess. We're going to reserve that. And I guess we'll reserve a courage or a fear. Does it really matter? No, not really. All it is I'll do fear. These 2 are going to get lost. There's nothing I can even do with those dice. But we are going to resolve the talk test. Oh, I could move. Why don't I move? Oh, I can't move. I needed those symbols. Wow, this is so terrible. All right, we're going to go ahead and do Justice's talk test. That's going to be what we're going to do first. We're going to continue by getting our event deck all set up here before I draw my card. Now, I believe this would persist as well, but I actually put the game away and totally forgot which cards were which, so I'm just going to go ahead and shuffle it up, and we're just going to start with a new event deck, and that's totally fine. We're going to go ahead and place it down. Now, I have to get a 6 in order to beat this guy's talk test threshold, because he's got 3 of these corruption tokens on there. So I don't know if we're ever going to do this. Maybe I shouldn't do it. And that means 1 goes on there. No, we're going to go for it. I need to get a 6 or better. This isn't going to happen. All right, oh my gosh, I got a 7. That's awesome. All right, we're going to go ahead and then read what our card says. It does say, When resolving a talk test targeting, it is double the amount, so that's why I need a 6 or better. Whenever one of these is placed on, remove one of those. Whenever this is placed on, remove one of those. Okay, so we got better than the number. So we're going to go ahead and check out card number 1128 from our deck. And let's see what that says. 1128 is right here. And it says, the human inside. Solomon's firm words speak to the human inside of this monstrosity. And for a brief moment, the man seems to overcome his torment. Help me, he screams before his teeth elongate into an abnormal length. Kane wards himself against such devilry as the man continues his beastly transformation. So we're going to go ahead and place a red token, and then that's it. And then this goes back into the deck. So we're going to go ahead and place our 3 tokens on there. We're going to go ahead and put our 2 corruption there. It does say whenever one of these is placed, we go ahead and remove one of these. Now, I don't know the exact point to having to build up all these. I don't think there really is a even when you lose them all, it doesn't really say that if you lose them, that's the bad thing that happens. But whatever. All right, we're going to go ahead and discard this card. We don't read the top part. Remember, that's only if something happens that causes us to do the event. We're just looking at the numbers. That's the end of her turn. So now that's the end of our turn. Our seeker is going to seek, and then it's going to go ahead and vandal. But it doesn't have any tokens in its square, so it's not going to vandal. At this point, we're also going to go ahead and abide by our card right down here. And that card, of course, says, at the end of each virtue turn, place a corruption token on this card. So we are back up to 3, which is sad, but that's not, well, it's sad, it's what it is. That's going to be it. Now I do have to go ahead and place out some new cards for her, so let's go do that, and then we're going to draw our darkness card. So we are going to go ahead and get rid of the dice that we used. We're going to go ahead, flip her token, which is going to be the end of it. But I get to put out one of these 2 cards. So I can either draw 2 of these and place one, or I can place 1 or 2 light if Solomon Kane is. I'm going to totally put this card out here. Hopefully that something good happens. I'm going to keep this card. Do I want this one? Yeah, we're going to keep that one out. Oh, I don't know if I'm ever going to make that card happen, but who knows? We're going to go ahead and draw our next card. And we've got composure. I can gain some clarity. That's awesome. I don't want clarity. I want compassion. I want a lot of compassion in order to talk to this guy because he's going to be getting pretty tough to convince here. We're now going to go ahead and draw our darkness card. And of course, the top part isn't going to come into effect. So we have to move anybody that is around him. We don't have any sentries or scouts, so that's not going to happen. None of the shadows are within 1. We do have a sentry, closest scout. The closest shadow moves 1 to threaten. So that is going to be what happens. Let's go ahead and do that and then spawn one of these at X. As the card said, we're going to move 1 to threaten and spawn 1 in X. Now remember, we're still at a threshold of 3 now because of those evil dangers we got during, I believe it was the story mission. Evil danger. So we're going to try to hold these at bay, but let's see what we can do, I guess. That'll be the best. Getting her in here would be ideal, but I don't know if that's going to happen. We now get to decide what order we want our virtues to go in. So we're going to go ahead first, and I think it's just almost a no-brainer. Justice needs to get on that board. I need to do everything I can to make this happen is what I need to do, and try to talk at the same time. Oh, I don't know if we're going to get both those. But we're going to give it our best shot. Then we're going to go ahead and have our second player act. I think we're going to go ahead, and I think I'm going to go back over to Temperance again. I believe that's going to be our best bet. Oh, no, I could move 1. We're going to go ahead and do this to maybe help move Solomon Kane. Or would that be, oh wait, place 1 on any virtue's dashboard. That'd be really good. Let's go there instead. Then we're going to go ahead. I think courage is going to go last. I don't really know what I'm going to do with courage. We're going to see what we can do over here too. That's it. Okay, I think that's going to be the order in what we're going to go. And now we're going to go ahead and do our virtue turn, which is going to be justice. Starting with justice, we're going to go ahead and roll our 3 dice. We don't have any beginning of turn effects. Let's see what she gets. She got 2 faith, a fear, another faith, and this might not be too bad. All right, so we got this and this. We can flip this to a bravery, put it here. Look at this. This is going to be awesome. And put this and this to gain more. Oh, no, we want to put her on the board. That's what we want to do. What am I thinking? Oh, but that's so good, too. We get to place 1 light. Oh, my gosh, that'd be awesome. But I do get my talk test, which is going to be very good. And I think I will put Justin on this board. I get +2 to my talk with her on the board. That's going to be amazing. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So we're going to go ahead and place Justice out on the board and then take a talk test. I do have a few options with Justice. One of the things I could do is put her right here. That would definitely prevent any of these shadows from moving in and causing problems for Solomon Kane. He'd be able to shockwave and probably get rid of either one or even both of them depending on how things work out. But I really think we need Justice on the board. Justice needs to stay on the board in order to get that +2 to all our talk tests from now on. I'd really like to move this one over here, but that didn't seem to happen. And I'd really like to move Solomon Kane over here, but that also didn't happen. So at this point, he's going to stay right there. He's going to get probably hit by one of these coming up from behind, but there's nothing I can do. That's going to be what happens. We're going to go ahead and move into our talk test now. Now I do get +2, and I have 1 light on there too, so I get +3 to this card draw. Let's see what we got. We got a 7. That's awesome. All right, so that again works. We're going to go ahead and remove a corruption token and place another objective token. So when we replace an objective, we get to remove a corruption token. That's going to be our end of turn. We're going to go ahead then and move the rest of our characters over. We're going to move this one over here. Now, of course, there are a few more things I have to do with Justice, like figuring out cards and things like that, but we'll do that, of course, after we're done with this part, just for videoing's sake. That's it. We're going to move into our darkness step, and actually looking over at Justice, there isn't anything to place. We used all our dice, and we're probably just going to keep the same cards that we have. So let's go ahead and see what our darkness does. Our darkness is going to, well, we're not going to do any of that. We do have Scout, Shadow moves 1 to engage. I was kind of hoping it wouldn't do that. All right, and let's see what the other one does. It's going to, the closest Shadow moves 2 to threaten. So this one from down here is going to move 1, 2 to threaten. It's not going to engage. It said to threaten. Now this one's going to engage. So if it engages him, I'm going to have to, oh, actually, I forgot. This one actually gave me -1 to my skill test. So I had a 4, 5, 6, 7. So I still got it. Oh, with that +1. All right. But I do have to remember, whenever these shadows are in surrounding Solomon, in a surrounding area of Solomon Kane's, I have to subtract 1 from my tests. But that's okay. I did still pass. So we're going to go ahead and see what our event is when that shadow hit us. It says right here, deep indecision. 1 virtue removes all dice from their reserve. All right, that's not actually a bad thing. 1 virtue removes 1 donated dice. Again, not a bad thing. I don't have any donated dice. +1 danger unless the prudence miniature is on the board. And oh no, I think we have temperance and justice. So that means we're going to have to go ahead and move our danger value up to 6. I do get a luck cube. However lucky that was. I'm going to go ahead and place this in the cloud. We do have 2 luck cubes and 1 mercy cube up there. Now let's continue on and see what else there is. I think that's it. I have to remove a donated dice. I don't have any donated dice, but 1 virtue does have to remove all of their dice from their reserve. And that's going to be the end of this turn. So I guess that's it. Let's go ahead and remove some dice. Courage is going last, so I'm just going to go ahead and remove her bravery die and keep this one in reserve. The funny thing is that's the exact roll I need for a talk test. But sadly, we'll have to roll it again when it's her turn. The last 2 things we have to do is place a corruption token here, and our card is going to make us spawn a shadow right down here at X. We're going to go ahead and flip her token so she is done, and we're going to move into her turn here. All right, let's see if Prudence can do what she needs to do. She's going to swing for the fences again. Since we have no beginning of turn effects, we're going to roll our dice and see what we got. We can move any 1 virtue. That's going to be awesome, but I can't move them any place because I don't have any light. Now that I just remembered that. We're going to try to perform a talk test, which means I need a bravery and this symbol and then 1 other die. This allows me to place 1 light on any virtue's dashboard. Sadly, this is what I had. I could add or discard a darkness card. That's not going to help me. I could place prudence on the board, or a virtue. Choose a virtue and resolve any 1 of their available actions for free. That might be the key right there. If I could go ahead and do that. Oh, but I want to get prudence on the board. That's what I need to do. So that's not going to happen. Nothing's going to happen. I'm going to either put prudence on the board or I have to talk. I think we're going to go ahead and do a talk test. That's going to be the plan. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose any virtue to do any 1 of their available actions for free, which is any 1 of the actions. It doesn't matter which one it is. So it could be our talk test. It could be a, well, I think it's just better to just do a talk test. Let's go ahead and, do we flip that die or do we re-roll the dice? Oh my gosh, there's so much different things to do with this character. I don't even know what to do. These are what we rolled. This is what we had in reserve. So let's see here. What are we going to do? We need a talk test, which is this and a bravery symbol. Let's just do it. We need to get the talk test going. So then we're going to sort of flip that for bravery. Anything else we do is just totally minute. We need to make sure we keep doing those talk tests. So we're going to do those and this. That's fantastic. I cannot move any of these, but I could do a place 1 light on any dashboard I want, or I could discard a darkness card. I don't want to do that. I think this is our best bet right here. place one light onto any Virtue's dashboard, and actually I'm actually going to place it on hers because I want to actually be able to move her if I move any of these people if I need to, moving into some of these other turns to hopefully try to protect Solomon Kane, because again he's going to get hit probably by one of these shadows coming up behind him. So let's go ahead and perform our talk test. And then just for the sake of being here, I'm going to go ahead and, well, I guess we'll keep the cards here. These two cards aren't too bad, except I'm not going to be using this card, but I want to keep it because if we go into another chapter, I need something like this to give more time. I'm just going to go ahead and flip her token. She's pretty much done because she's used all her dice. All we have to do is perform our talk test. Then we're going to perform all the end of turn effects. So she's done, and we're going to move on with the next person after we finish everything we're doing. We're going to go ahead and take our card and flip and see how we do. We got a 4. So we did a talk test with her in the area for her aura. So that means it's going to be +2 for her being the aura, and there is 1 light on that as well. So that's going to be +3 to this talk test. I believe we get all the bonuses because the actual aura is in effect. And the test is actually the talk test being performed, even though it's from Prudence, it's on her card. So I believe you still get the +1. If you don't, please let me know in the comments below. We're going to go ahead and get our 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's enough to again complete the talk test. So we're going to go ahead and remove one of these corruption tokens and put another one of our objective tokens down. And that's the end of the talk test. So we're going to move into our next area, which means we're going to go ahead and seek. So this guy is going to go ahead and seek, and we're going to be placing another corruption token back on this card when it comes to the end of our virtue turn. Then we're going to have to move into the darkness turn. Our seeker is getting ever closer to his prize. Hopefully we can get there before I finally fail one of those talk tests. But we also have to go into our darkness steps. Let's go ahead and reveal our card. We've got all virtues, discard 1 extra card. It's not going to happen. We're going to go shadows, move 1 to engage. Oh, I was really hoping that wouldn't happen. So this one is going to engage him. So we're going to go have to draw an event card. Let's see what else here. It's going to say that the closest shadow moves 1 to threaten. So he's going to go ahead and move 1, and he'll be threatening from that position right there. Let's go ahead and draw our event and see what happens to Solomon Kane. Draining Miasma, -1 clarity unless Temperance miniature is on the board. I have to remove 1 light. Oh, that's terrible. Well, the good news is Temperance is on the board, so I'm not going to lose any clarity, but I still have to remove 1 light. And sadly, I think we're going to remove it from Prudence because even though I just put it on Prudence, that talk test is so valuable. So we're going to go ahead and discard that event card. No, that was terrible. And we're going to go ahead and move into our next turn. But first, we also have to make sure that there is no spawn, and there is no spawn. We're going to remove this one because it did actually get into a square, and we still have another one that is now threatening Solomon Kane. After looking at Prudence's card, I actually do want to discard that one to place this one out here that gives me +2 light, just because there's a chance that going into another chapter someday, I'm going to need a way to get that light up on it in order for it to happen. Now we are going to shuffle up our deck and draw another card. And we have altruism. Oh, that's pretty funny. That's the one I just put on the. That was just one that was just there. All right, now we're done. I know I should have done that before we actually moved into the end of turn effects, but I didn't really look at the cards too well. I should have looked at them a little bit better. Now we're going to go ahead and move into Temperance's turn. We don't have any beginning of turn effects, so we're just going to go ahead and roll our 3 dice. Come on, another big one here. I need a really good roll here. We got bravery, fear, and another one of these. Okay, so hopefully something good can come out of this. Let's see what we can do. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and re-roll this die right here. I need to get a better symbol. Come on, something. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, I got exactly what I needed. All right, here's what we're going to do. We are again going to activate Justice's talk action by using these 2 to activate it. I need a bravery, and I also need one of these, which we're going to turn into that. This is going to be that, and then I'm going to use my fear to go ahead and be the extra one I have to pay to use that action. Then on top of that, I'm going to use benediction over here, which allows me to draw 2 of those cards, and we get to keep 1 of them. So let's go ahead and do all of this. The first thing we're going to do is draw our 2 blessings. Let's see what 2 we got. We gained at the start of a virtue's turn, roll 4 extra dice. Oh, that's pretty good. And what's this one? It says +3 to a fight, explore, or talk test. Oh my goodness. We're going to keep that one. We're going to go ahead and remove this one. I'm just going to put it back on the bottom of the pile here. The 4 dice is really nice, but +3 to a talk test I think is going to be fantastic, especially during this particular scene. If we need to, we can always do that. Plus I've got 2 luck dice here that I could also use to, oh, now I think about it, I got 2 luck dice. I can always redraw that event. Actually, I think I am going to keep this one. This 4 dice, that's pretty sweet. We're going to go ahead and do the dice one now I think about it. That's fantastic. We're going to roll the extra dice, I think, at the start of a virtue turn. So I can't roll them after I see the dice. I have to roll them when it is my turn to roll the dice. So that is something I do have to keep in mind when I use this. But that's going to be our blessing. Coming back over to Temperance's board, I have to go ahead and get rid of this card. We've gone ahead and used those dice. We're going to go ahead and place this one, the one that gives us light. Now that I know light's really super important. We're going to go ahead, though she is on the board. I'm able to get 2 clarity. I didn't really need clarity yet. Explore 5. I didn't need to explore anything either, so that's not going to help us either. That's her end of turn. Let's go back over to the board and move everything around. We're going to perform our talk test, and hopefully we get a good number. We need to go ahead and draw our card and see what we get. We got a 5. Oh, that's going to be perfect. I think 5, 6, 7, 8 again. -1 is 7, so that's perfect. We get to go ahead and remove a corruption token from our stack down there. And we get to add another one of our tokens to this pool down here. That's going to be awesome. All right, so we're going to, I guess, keep on gaining these. I don't really understand the point of gaining these unless there's something at the end because we gained so many, something good happens. I don't know. But we were able to succeed in our talk test, which is fantastic. Now we're going to go ahead and move into the rest of our virtues turn. We're going to move our seeker to go ahead and seek. He's almost to his pile. Next, we have to go ahead and draw a darkness card. Let's see what we get. We got this one. It says sentries move 2, scout moves 1, hunter moves 4. So anything in this area is not, so this guy is not going to engage me this turn. That's absolutely awesome. Of course, the farthest shadow moves 2 to threaten, but there aren't any other shadows out here. Oh, and there's nothing spawning either. Wow, it's a great darkness card. Woohoo! I love you, darkness card. We're going to go into our 4th character's turn. We have no beginning of turn effects. So we're going to go ahead and roll our 3 dice and see what we get. We got a faith. Oh, that's so good. We got a faith. This is what we have. This is exactly what I need. We're going to go ahead and let's see what I can do with these. We can flip this to a courage. I'm then going to go ahead and spend this as my extra die to give myself the ability to do my talk test yet again. That's awesome. Now I could donate this, but I don't have anybody I can donate to because everybody's already gone. So we're just going to put that into our reserve, and she might go first next time because I'll have an extra die to hopefully help keep on the going with those talk tests. We're keeping this guy at bay so far, but it's probably going to last so long. We're going to go ahead now and go into our talk test and see how we do. I was thinking about using my 1 danger to give myself a move point to be able to move maybe into her square. But if I would do that, I'd be out of the aura of justice, and we need to stay in that aura. Now, the other thing I forgot to do is I forgot to put a corruption token down at the end of my last virtue's turn. So 4. We always seem to have 4, which is why I'm a little scared of this thing. If I ever fail one of these, I don't see how I could ever keep myself from having 5 on this thing. So we're going to go ahead and try our courage test or our talk test yet again against this guy. We got a 3. Oh no, that's not going to be enough. 3, 4, 5, 6. But we still have this guy down here, which means it's going to be a 5, which is not enough. We have failed our test. I think what we're going to do is we're going to use one of our luck cubes to go ahead and draw another event card. We got a 5 this time. Oh, those luck cubes are going to save us here. We were able to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this token, but I'm actually just going to put it right back down because at the end of turn, it's going to go there. There's nothing I'm going to actually do with justice. I think justice is going to stay exactly how she is, or sorry, courage is going to stay exactly how she is, and we're just going to go ahead and move our seeker. Our seeker has now made it to the token, so he's going to slowly go ahead and remove one of these each turn from now on. Moving into our darkness turn, which is, I just keep getting bombarded by this guy, but I have to keep this talk test going. If I don't do it, I'm in big trouble. Let's go ahead and draw our card, see if that shadow actually engages us. The shadow does move to engage, and we're going to spawn another one at X. So I'm actually just going to move this one back down there, and we're just going to go ahead and draw an event card and see what happens to poor old Solomon Kane. It says 1 virtue discards all dice from their reserve. Now, the thing is, I can't choose one that does not have any. If something is able to do this, we have to do that. So we are going to remove Courage's faith die from there. Then it says remove 1 donated die. We don't have any out there, so I can't actually appease that one. But -1 strength unless courage is on the board, and I'm not. But I do get to place a mercy cube. I guess that's half the battle. So I get a mercy cube, but I do have to drop my strength down to 7, which means we're still at +1. But it's 1 away from going to 6, which means then we get nothing. And that's the end of that event. We're going to go ahead and move into our turn now. At this point, we now get to go ahead and pass out our tokens yet again. I think the first person that's going to go is going to be, I think I'm going to let her go first. Then I think we're going to have Justice go, followed by, it's almost the same order we had last time, I think, except for a couple changes. But we're going to go ahead and start with her, just because I like the fact that she can put one light on any person's dashboard and also probably still be able to do this, meaning I'd be able to get the +2 if I can get that light out there. I've got a plan to try to keep these talk tests going. At this point, I am going to go ahead and use this at the start of a virtue's turn. I get to roll 4 extra dice. Is now the time to do it? I don't know, but I know if I ever miss that talk test, something bad is going to happen and I don't want it to. So we've got our entire dice group here. We're going to roll them all out here and see what we get. We got a whole ton of stuff, and believe it or not, I didn't get a talk test out of it. I can make a talk test right here with this, and something else. But I also want to put this out on the board. So we've got that, and this is going to be an extra one. Now these two I am going to pass. I'm going to pass this one over to Justice into donated dice, and then I'm going to donate this one over to Temperance. Those are the 2 dice that are going to be donated. These are what I'm going to use. I'm going to place 1 light onto a Virtue's dashboard. We are going to choose Justice. Justice is going to take this light onto her dashboard. Now we're going to go ahead and do that with a Bravery and a Pain, and then this is going to be our extra die that we're going to go ahead and use. I didn't donate, re-roll, or flip any dice because we were totally fine, especially giving out faith dice. That's awesome. So we're going to go ahead now and do our talk test with +2 with the light. We are in Justice's aura, so we're going to go ahead and reveal this. We got a 4 + 4 is 8. We're going to go ahead, remove this token, then put it right back down there. We're going to go ahead and discard that card. We're going to allow our person to go ahead and perform his action on that objective token. He's going to vandal it, which means we're going to remove one of these from there. Then we're going to go ahead and draw our darkness card and see what happens to our darkness thing down here. None of them are adjacent, and there's nothing here that's going to be in the same area as Solomon Kane. So it just says right here, closest shadow moves 1 to threaten. So he's going to move up and threaten Solomon Kane from there. And we're going to spawn a new one down at Z. So we finally have some real big issues right now here. So Z is right up there. If both of these can come down, we could have a big issue. Maybe there's a chance that I might actually try to sacrifice. I might sacrifice Justice at this point, getting up pretty soon. Oh, but having that +4, I really need it. I think we're just going to keep getting pounded by these darkness until we're able to complete this. Absolutely ridiculous scenario. This is out of control. All right, but we are holding this guy at bay. We're continuing to talk to him down from turning into a werewolf, which I think is key, because if he ever does, I don't know how I would ever be able to deal with that. That's the end of our turn. We're going to move into our next turn, which I believe is Justice. There's nothing on the cards I want to switch for our character that we just used. Prudence is doing just fine, so we're now going to go ahead and see what we can do with Justice. Justice has some great donated dice, which is just that one. We're going to roll them up and see what we get here. All I need is one symbol. There it is. I just need that symbol right there. This was a pain symbol. Now at this point, I can go ahead and decide what I want to do with these. Those I might want to donate. I don't need a pain though. So if I flip one of these, I could donate this symbol over to Courage. He's going to donate that to Courage, and we're just going to donate this to Temperance, I think. I don't know really what I do with it, but you never know. We're going to go ahead and donate that to Temperance. And we're going to go ahead, do our talk test, and see how it goes. Now I do have a place light up here. I am going to go ahead and get rid of my talk 5 because I'm never going to get that. And we're going to go ahead and put down this place 1 light. I think that's going to be pretty good. Now, of course, I do have 2 mercy cubes I could have used, but I really don't know what I could have used the mercy cubes for except to place 1 light. I could have used this, and I could have, this was a pain, so I guess I couldn't really do anything with it. Yep, that's about all I could have done, so we're just going to go ahead and do what I did. But I could use some of the mercy cubes to act as one of these dice. I could put a mercy cube here and put this over here and potentially gotten this if I wanted it, but we're okay. I'm going to go ahead and draw my other card from our deck over here, and we've got this one where I can remove a compassion and 2 of those place 2 lights. So we've got some light now finally out on our boards, and the ability to put more light on it if we need to coming up, if our next one is maybe one of those story events or something. All right, let's do our talk test. These talk tests are becoming a lot easier now, which is kind of nice. Oh, a 6. Wow, it's out of control. All right, so we're going to go ahead and remove our token. And actually, I looked at them wrong. I should only have 3 tokens there. I must have not taken one off at one point. So we do have a couple times we could have failed this. So I have 3 on there, and then I take one off, so I put another one back onto 3. So it's always 3. Oh, but if I fail, I'm going to have to put one on there. That's what it is. If you ever fail one of these, it's when it all goes down, because then you'd put one on at the end, because that's how it goes. So we have 3. I'm going to take one off because we're successful. I've stopped putting these tokens on. If there's something about how something happens based on how many of these we have, we got one for every single turn. So I'm not too worried about it. I'll figure it out then. But I don't see any reason to keep putting these on here. It doesn't say anything about those having any bearing on whether or not this guy stops turning into a werewolf. We're going to discard this. We're going to go ahead and, again, vandal this. We're down to 1 token left. We're going to move into our darkness turn, and I guarantee this guy's going to bomb me again. Let's see what it says here. This shadow moves 1 to engage, so this guy's going to go ahead and move in here. He's going to engage, and then we are going to spawn him back down on X, so I'm just going to place him again back down on the board. Let's see what happens. Solomon Kane's just getting wrecked by these shadows. Soul stricken. All virtues remove 1 die from their reserve. Oh, okay, well, I have 1 in my reserve, I think. No, I have none in my reserve. I've donated all the dice. So I don't have any dice in my reserve, which is good. We're going to go ahead and continue. All virtues without their miniature on the board. Discard 1 action card. Then 1 virtual removes 1 donated die. Oh, but I get to place 1 of these. So we get another 1 of these. Let's see what it is. Oh, I can't look at it yet. I got to go ahead and do the rest of the stuff first. We're going to get rid of this die off of Temperance in the donated section. Let's see what else we had to do. We have to remove 1 action card from all virtues without miniatures on the board. So we're going to go ahead and remove this from Courage, and we're going to go ahead and remove this from Oh, it's not Temperance, it's Prudence. Oh no, Prudence has 2 fantastic cards. Look at her cards. These are amazing. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Radiance. I'm going to keep the one that gives me darkness on the board. We're going to keep this one in her left hand. I might want to have to add a card while we're doing those next story chapters, if that's next. It might not be. It might be a scene. I don't even know. Now we get to go ahead. I think that's the rest of this card. Let's go ahead and check out Soul Stricken. Make sure you got all the rest. Yes, we did everything. All right, we're going to discard that event card, and we're going to go ahead and see what our blessing is. Oh, I get to place 1 of each of those. That's awesome. Let's go ahead and place those down there. We only have 1 luck cube left that we could get. Otherwise, we're at max in the cloud. These are a finite resource. You can't just put up random cubes up there. That's what we have in our cloud, which is pretty good. That's the end of our darkness step. It's going to go ahead and be, who's next? Oh, I think it's going to be Temperance. Temperance is going to go ahead and roll 3 dice and see how we do. We got, oh, wow, that's awesome. I'm going to go ahead and use this bravery and this one as my talk test. We're going to use this as my extra die. And then I've got this. I might as well put it into my reserve. I'm just going to place that into my reserve. Totally fine. Let's go ahead and do that talk test. Flip her token. I don't want to get rid of either of these. Maybe I want to get rid of this one. Choose a virtue that immediately resolve 1 card from their hand at no cost. That's kind of nice. Nah, we're going to get rid of it and put, well, what am I going to put in there? There's nothing good, just nothing good. This is the only one I want to make sure I keep out here at all times. So hopefully if we do go to a scene again or a story one, I've got a couple chances of maybe getting some light out on there. All right, we're going to do our talk test. Solomon Kane is continuing to beg and plead as these shadows keep on coming after him. Let's go ahead and see what happens. Oh, you know what? I think I forgot to move the other shadow, didn't I? Let's see what that shadow does. The farthest shadow moves 2 to engage? Really? The farthest shadow moves 2 to engage. Oh, this is terrible. All right, this thing's going to move 1, 2. It can't engage me, but it could go 1, 2. It's going to get to there. That's the closest it can get. It can't actually engage me, so I guess it's just going to get up there and threaten me. Now, if that's wrong, please let me know, because it can't actually engage me, so I'm not sure if it would move. I don't see why it wouldn't move. All right, let's see if we complete our talk test. We got a 4. Let's add that up. 4 plus 4 is 8. Minus 1 is 7, so we are able to take a darkness token off or corruption token off. We're just going to place it right back on there. Totally fine. We're going to go into our end of turn effects. Like I said, I think we're going to keep all the cards the same, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to we're going to vandal this, which means now that that is done, we have come to the end of our objective. When the last token is removed from play, it is over. So we complete the turn, which is now, and we're going to go into our outcome. Chapter 6A is a story mission, and it's called The Wolf Flees. Let's go ahead and read it. A massive wolf raises its hackles, bristling as Solomon Kane moves between it and the herbalist. Kane carefully draws his rapier, making no sudden movement, stretching his arms out in a calming fashion. "It's here somewhere," mutters Atenier, behind him, rummaging for his weapon. "Be swift, man," hisses Kane over his shoulder. The wolf cocks its head, looking past the Puritan to the old herbalist, and emits a low, rumbling snarl, saliva streaming from its fang-studded lower jaw. The wolf springs for Atenier. Kane, against all reason, springs forward to meet it. The pair go down in a writhing heap as Solomon wrestles with the brute to keep it from the old man. The wolf is as big as a mule, twice as strong and thrice as ferocious. Kane stabs it repeatedly with his rapier, and it struggles free, yelping. Blood streams down its flank from multiple gashes, but before the Puritan's very eyes, the flow falters and ceases, and the ragged rips of the wounds knit over, and the pelt covers them. "Name of the devil!" swears Kane, his eyes widening. "How will we defeat such a foe?" "Aha!" cries Atenier, and as the wolf prepares to leap past Kane at the herbalist, a flash of bright fire bursts from Atenier's hand. The werewolf flinches as the silver bullet grazes its shoulder, and it turns and flees into the night. There's a special rule for this story chapter. It's that virtues may take explore tests. And if we get up to 4, we get to pick out D1127. 5 plus, we get D1129. Now, I believe we're still able to just try to put light out as well. Because as we see here, the objective is to illuminate Solomon's path. So we're going to go ahead and see how this goes. But before we do, we're going to go ahead and grab our darkness deck and put out 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is going to be our timer. All we have is 4 cards again to get our path illuminated. We're going to start with courage. We're going to see how this goes. I'm going to roll my 3 dice, and we've got bravery, fear, a faith symbol. All right, that might not be too bad. Now, of course, we can also do an explore action because I don't really have any way of putting light on the board with her. So our explore action takes a bravery, and it also takes a fear. And we're going to use this die as well to do it, and we're going to go ahead and put this into our reserve. And that's going to be all we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and see how our explore action works. We're going to draw our event card and see what we get. We got a 6. Okay, so that's more than 4. So that means we get to go ahead and grab card 129 from our discovery cards. And let's see what it says. The beast will return. Kane finds the path that the werewolf has fled through and prepares his charge. "Stay back, sir. I need you," rasped the herbalist. "There's not much time left. The beast will come again tomorrow. We need to be prepared." Convinced by the wise man's advice, Solomon stays back to assist him. Oh, we're going to get 1 light just for that. That's awesome. All right, so if we can't get light normally, we can always do it that way. So I'm going to go ahead and grab 1 light and place it down on our path. We only need 4 more to reach the top, and we need at least 2 more to make it so at least it's a bright path. We're done with our character here. We're going to go ahead and draw our darkness card and see what has befallen our brave king. Oh, look at this. Remove 1 light. Ah! Now, I can remove it from somebody else. I am going to go ahead and take it from virtue, or not virtue, sorry. I'm going to take it from justice. We're going to go ahead and take her light off her board, and I'm going to discard this card. We're going to go and see what person is going to go next. We are at 1 light. All we have to do is get 2 more, like I said, and we can go down this bright path to 7A. I forgot to show the outcome, or the dark path to 7B. Those are the only 2 outcomes we have. I forgot to show that at the beginning. Before we move into our next turns, because this was our 4th player, I do have to put a card out here. I forgot to put one out here. I'm going to go ahead and put Fight 5 because our next might be a scene, and if that's the case, I'm going to want to have maybe some fight, who knows, or some clarity, something. Now we're not going to be going towards light, most likely. The reason why I don't want to put this one out is because I want to lose a strength, and right now we also have +1 strength, so I don't want to lose that. And I only have 3 darkness cards left, so it's probably not going to be her turn if we decide to make her go 4th, and that might be how it goes because I don't have any way of putting light on the board with her, so I'm kind of preparing her for the next, hopefully, scene. If it's another story, we're in big trouble. Let's go ahead and take back all our tokens and divvy them out. We again have to go ahead and place out our coins to see who's going to go first. I'm going to have Temperance go first, followed by Prudence. I think Prudence is going to go next. The reason I'm having Temperance go is because she can do this explore action, and I might be able to pass one of my extra dice. We're going to go ahead and have her go second because she could place light onto any Virtue's dashboard, which means I could put it here to help with explore tests. Then I'm going to have Justice, or not Justice, but yeah, Justice. We're going to have Justice go next. Let's go ahead and have Justice go 3rd, and that way we'll have Courage go 4th yet again. Though Courage does have a reserve dice, we're going to have Justice go 4th because I really don't have, but she could place light just straight up. That's not a bad thing. She needs to roll a perfect roll. I'm going to have her go next because she at least has this die, which allows us to help get... Oh, maybe I can get some dice to her by then. Let's try it this way. We're going to try it this way. Let's see how this goes. All right, lots of thinking here for probably not something that's going to matter too much. All right, there we go. We've got all our people ready. Let's go ahead and start here. I don't have any beginning of turn effects, so we're just going to go ahead and roll our dice and see what we get. We got a bravery and a fear symbol, I'm guessing that. Nope, that's a bravery symbol. It's just a little bit messed up. That's okay. I've got these dice right here. We could do an explore action, or I could attempt to re-roll one of these. I think I'm going to attempt to re-roll one of these. If I can get this over here, I can just gain a light. That's going to be way better. Oh, we got that. That's not going to help at all. So instead, we're going to go ahead and do it this way. I'm going to give this die to, I think we're going to give that one to Justice. This one's going to go ahead and get donated to Prudence. That's going to be the way we're going to do this. Now we're going to go ahead and grab our event card and see what we get. Hopefully we get enough to actually get a light out on the board. Come on, what do I need? I need up to 4 D1127 5 plus, and I don't have any extra explore action because of course she's here, so I don't get any bonuses. We did get a 5. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. All right, we're gonna go ahead now and grab another light token. We're gonna put that out on the book. Yes, we're at 2 right now. Now of course, darkness deck, don't be mean. Let's see what happens. I don't have any. Okay, at this point I can go ahead and remove these. I can choose to keep these here or change them out. We're gonna leave them right where they are. That's totally fine. Now we're gonna draw our darkness card. And what does it say here? -1 compassion. Oh, our compassion's at 5. We really got to work on that. So that's the end of her turn. We're going to go up to Prudence and see what she can do. Prudence also has no beginning of turn effects, so we're going to go ahead and roll our dice and see. Oh, wow, look at that. That's a plethora of different symbols there. We're going to go ahead and place 1 light onto any dashboard. I could do that, right? I could flip that. There we go. Then over here, check this out. I could go ahead and use this to add or discard 1 darkness card. I think I'm going to go ahead and add a darkness. No, I think we're actually doing pretty good. I don't know if I really need to add or subtract a darkness card. This is going to be a tough choice. Let's go ahead and add a darkness card. I think that's going to be our best bet. Whenever you add a darkness card, you can take a random one from the stack, and you're going to add it to the bottom of the deck. So now we're up to 3 darkness cards. Since the key to this is going to be those explore actions, we're going to go ahead and give 1 of these lights to Temperance right here, so that now we're getting +1 when we actually draw those cards. Having done our actions with Prudence, we're going to go ahead and place 1 of these cards into her space. We can either do Reconciliation, where a virtue immediately searches through their discard pile and plays 1 from their choice from their hand. I think we're going to do that one. That sounds absolutely phenomenal. We're going to put that one down, and we're going to go ahead and give her this one, Gratitude. -1 of any of those, place light. Oh no, again, where were you a little while ago? We're going to go ahead and flip the token and move into our 3rd player. But before we do, we have to, of course, resolve a darkness card. What is this one? Oh, we're going to lose 1 light. All right, I have 2 on our story. I'm actually going to just remove the 1 from Justice. Maybe putting that darkness card out there wasn't the greatest plan. We're going to go ahead and roll our 3 dice for Justice and see how it goes. Come on, Justice, let's do some good justicing. We got some stuff that might actually help us out. What I think we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create this right here. I'm going to flip that die, allowing us to place 1 light. We're going to put this out on the book. That gives us 3 for our book. And I could also choose to lose 1 compassion, which I think I'm going to do. We're going to use that 1 compassion to gain another light to put onto that book. Now, the funny thing is I'm probably going to use it right back to put +1 to compassion, but I want to make sure we have enough light on the board, so if the darkness makes us keep removing them, I can actually remove them from the book this time instead of maybe removing from our characters that are actually helping us out. I have 1 left. We're going to put it in reserve. I could pass it over to Courage, but Courage really can't use it for anything at this point, though I could set her up possibly for something that might happen in the next scene or chapter, next story, depending on what we're going to do. That's the end here. I'm going to go ahead and put 1 of our cards out. I think I'm going to put this one out here. Oh, I already got 1 that gives us Mercy Cubes. Let's go ahead and put this out. I don't know if I'm really going to use it because look at this, more -1 compassion. That's not something we want. But here we go, Enlightenment. Well, how about that? Place 1 light. I got all the place 1 lights later. Okay, we do have to resolve our next darkness card, meaning we only have 1 after this. Let's see what this says. This one says, all virtues must remove 1 dice from their reserve. Wow, that's hilarious. All right, so our 2 characters are both going to lose 1, Courage and Justice here. That was terrible. We lost a dice we just put there. All right, she's done. We're going to move into our 4th person. Courage is our final virtue to go. I didn't even know she'd actually have a chance at this, so I remember we said that we're going to give her 4 and probably not going to matter. We're going to set her up for the next thing. Well, instead we're setting her up for this. We're going to go ahead and roll. Oh, she got some pretty good rolls there, which is going to be great. I can use this to do our explore test, which is exactly what we need to do to hopefully get a little bit more light out there. And I'm actually going to put this into my reserve. I'm going to keep that one because I can't donate it because she's the 4th one. We're going to go ahead and flip this. I'm going to use these to do our explore. Oh, I can't. I have to use an extra die to use something else on another board. So I'm going to use all 3 of those dice to do an explore action. So we're going to go ahead and flip our number and see what we get. Come on, event. We got a 4. All right, so we need a 4, up to 4 or 5 plus. So we got 5 plus because we do have the 1 light on Temperance's board. So that means we're going to be able to gain, or we're able to read card number 127, which I believe is going to be good for us. According to our book, we're going to take card 129 and we're going to go ahead and get our +1 light. The beast will return. We're going to take that light, place it out on the board. Look at this. We've got 5. We've actually illuminated the entire path, but it's not over yet. We do have to go ahead and check out our last final darkness card because I think we're going to leave what we have in place for courage. Oh, we have to remove 1 light. Now, one thing I could do is I could actually go ahead and remove the explore test, and I think I'm going to do that. We're going to remove that because I want to keep all this light out here so we can adjust our track a little bit because our compassion is really low, and we've been using that a lot in this campaign, so hopefully that will actually help us if we can put some more out there. So we have 3 above our actual bright path, so we can add 1, 2, 3 to the actual paths. Let's take a look. Adjusting our track 3 is actually going to help a lot. I'm actually going to move our danger down 2 so we can get back to that 2 shadows. I don't want more than that. And I am going to go with our compassion up +1. Remember that -1 I took? I just put it right back. I figured that'd probably what I'd do, but you never know. That's going to be what we're going to do with our light. And that's going to be, I guess, the end of our story. And that's going to bring us to our Bright Path 7A. Which is going to be Foraging by Night, Chapter 7A. It's unseen, and I'm excited to do this in the next video. We're going to go into that very beginning, and we're going to start foraging by the night. I'm excited to see where this is going to be taking us. Hopefully we can take out these wolves that have been invading this land. We'll see how it goes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying the playthrough. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so we'll soon know when the next part of this playthrough comes out. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. Are you enjoying this game? Have you had a lot of experience with the game? I'm having a great time. I love the fact I can play all 4 of these virtues and they're able to share dice and even use each other's abilities. It's really kind of cool. Again, thank you so much for watching. And if you're excited to see if Solomon Kane can make it through this wolf-infested land, then I need you to meet me at the table.